Hey guys, so this is gonna be a quick video. I was talking to my friend Kaylee, and she wanted to kind of know more about Google Analytics and Squarespace Metrics. And to be honest, I'm not that familiar with Google Analytics. I've used it for an embarrassing long time and still don't know or I know the basics, but I don't know everything that it can do. Google Analytics changes a lot, Google updates it a lot, and I don't really dig into it too much. So if you are like, you know the basics of Google Analytics, this video is not for you. Or if you like want to really dig into it. But if you just want to know the basics, you want to get an idea of your bounce rate, and you want to be able to track your traffic with different websites and stuff, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. The actual interface of Google Analytics is kind of messy and not very pretty, but I'll just kind of show you the basics, and I will show you kind of how that compares with Squarespace. I'm going to show you my metrics for noraconrad.com, which, keep in mind, didn't open until April. So there's not a lot of data on it, so I apologize. But my older websites and stuff, the data isn't as accurate, so that's why I'm going to show you this. So I'm sorry that there's not like more of an example. We're going to start out in Squarespace though. So if you go to, let me make sure this is showing. There we go. If you go to your Squarespace menu and you click on metrics from the main menu, this is where you can kind of get an overview of everything. Squarespace doesn't dig too deep into the details, but it does give you a good overview and an idea of how many people are coming to your site. So if you click on traffic overview, this can show you an hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly view of your traffic. Let's see. Oh, I didn't start in April, so I must have started in May. I did not remember that. Anyways, so you can kind of hover over the different dots. It tells you your audience size, it tells you your page views, and then it tells you your total visits. Just to give you an idea, total visits is how many people go to your website from a new page. So if I closed this and then reopened it and went to noraconrad.com, that would be a visit. Audience size is how many of those people are unique. So how many people came to my website total. So if a person visited my site twice in the month of May, it's only going to count them once here. If they visited twice from two different places, so if they went on their desktop and then they went onto their phone, this will count it twice. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your audience size. This might be a lot higher or a lot lower than your actual number. What's really important, I think, is your page views and visits. Page views is how many pages those people view. So if someone comes to your website and then they click on your blog and then they click on a different blog post and then they click on your about page, that is 4 page views. So regardless of how many people actually come to your site, the page views is how many pages were looked at on your site. So even if only 5 people came to your site, but you had 10 page views, that means each person on average saw 2 of your pages. So when you compare page views with your visits, you can kind of get an idea of how many people look at different pages per visit. So I have about 2 to 3 ratio. So that means for every 2 people that visit my website, they view about 3 pages, if that makes sense. I hope that math was right. It's nighttime. I'm very tired. I'm sorry if that's totally wrong. You guys get the idea, though. Down here, it just kind of breaks it up by month. You can also see it broken up by browser and by the operating system. So iPhone, on a Mac, on Windows, Android, Safari, Chrome, all that good stuff. So all that's pretty basic and self-explanatory. The further down you go, the more kind of detailed it gets. Here you can look at the mobile views only. So as you can see from my stats, more than half of the people who visit my site come to my site on their cell phones. They don't come on a laptop or a desktop computer, they're on a cell phone. So that's really good for me to know because I can hover up here and look at my cell phone view of my site and make sure that it looks okay. If pictures are all messed up or things are totally out of whack, I can see that here and I can fix it. So that's a really important thing to pay attention to, especially because so many people use their phones now to surf blogs and the internet. So you can go past and you can see it day by day. You can also see the different operating systems for mobile and for desktop. RSS subscribers is how many people subscribe to your RSS feed. So this just shows you the total amount of subscribers. Mine is not accurate because I don't use Feedly. And then I use Blog11 mostly. So it's saying that only 0.41% of my followers are on Blog11, but I have more than 580 subscribers on there. So it is incorrect, but that's because I transferred this over. So this isn't super important unless a feed is part of your marketing strategy, but this is not a huge important thing to pay attention to. Your referrers, I think I'm saying that wrong. This is important. This shows you where people are coming from. So as you can see, over 50% of my traffic is from Pinterest. So people clicked on a pin that brought them to my site. This is super important. That means that every single one of my blog posts should have an image that can be pinned on Pinterest. And I know because I use images that work really well with Pinterest, that's why my traffic is so high. You can see it broken down further. So direct traffic is someone who typed in www.noraconrad.com and got here, or they came directly to a page, so noraconrad.com/blog, or maybe they clicked a link directly here. Then I have Google, so someone found me in Google search results, Facebook, Twitter, some sort of list management, so this would be my mailing list. Pinterest in the UK, and then there's just a couple other things, things that I've commented on, or my friend, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, you guys. The Cardia blog, I think that's how you say that. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Brittany, if I'm totally pronouncing your blog wrong, but I have an ad on her blog, so that's where some of the traffic is coming from. You can kind of break it down more if you click on these little. Oh, of course it's not loading. If you click on these little dots, there we go. It opens up more details. So if I want to know which of my pins is driving the most traffic, I can see, oh my goodness, my website or my computer is not cooperating. I can see where most of my traffic is coming from. So for example, this pin had 17. If I click on it, it will open up the pin that people were clicking on to get to my site. So that way I know where they're coming from. So this pin is my first apartment guided tips. I know that this blog post, because it's popular on Pinterest, should probably look pretty nice on my website. So yeah, that kind of breaks that up, gives you more details. And it shows you every single place that it comes from, not just your top ones. Okay, let's go back. Popular content shows you where people are visiting most. So my blog post about moving into your first apartment is my #1 post. This is because I imported this from my old blog. This kind of went viral on Pinterest. So that's why it has so many views. You can see my other post, everything you need to know about your first tattoo and becoming a Proverbs 31 woman are both from my old blog. So this is old traffic or old ads that are still generating traffic. But this is helpful because you know what people are interested in. You know what kind of blog posts people like the most and stuff like that. It also breaks down each page count, what pages were looked at, and how many times. So that's super helpful when planning blog posts as well. Okay, I'm not going to go through the rest of these because they are a little silly. They're not super important in my opinion. Search engine queries can be important if you're super into SEO and you want to optimize that. So right now, my current, like when someone searches for this term, my site comes up. What does the Bible say about being energetic and a hard worker? When someone typed that into Google, my website came up. So that kind of shows me what people are searching for, and I can kind of optimize my post to fit that question. So there's a couple questions about tattoos and being a Proverbs 31 woman, because I wrote posts about those. That's where people are coming in from. The downside about this is that 98% of my stats are not provided. So those are people who the terms were not saved. This is where Google Analytics will come in to play, because this information is more accurate on Google Analytics, where the rest of this information is actually more accurate on your own site. So in Squarespace, your traffic overview, your mobile usage, your referrers, that is more accurate here because Squarespace is tracking it, not Google. Google cuts out some of the stuff that they think is spam, even if it's not. Oops, I clicked on the same one. Then you have your activity log, so you can see different IP numbers, IP addresses, and see who's on your site. So if you need to block someone, that's how you would do that. Okay, so let's switch over. Actually, let me show you this really quickly. If you go back to your Squarespace menu and you go into settings, and I think it's under advanced. Now I have to remember. This is why I should not film videos in the evening. Marketing, that's where it is. SEO. Is it an SEO? It's not an SEO. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, well, somewhere in here you can connect your Google Analytics account, and I can't remember, so that's really awkward. I'm so sorry. And this is why I should have printed out my own guide that I made for this. Okay, well, I'll figure out where that is, and I will post that in the down bar in the description box. I'm sorry, you guys. Is it under here? No. Okay. The only... Yeah, I don't remember where it is. That's awkward. Okay, so let me switch over to Google Analytics. I'm sorry, you guys. And show you this. When you log into Google Analytics, this is the page it takes you to. If you have multiple websites, you're going to see folders like this. I have my Etsy shop in here, my old blog, and then my current one. This is all the website data, and then this is a certain page that I'm tracking. I'm just going to go ahead and show you all the website data. Oh, and let me go back really quickly. If you ever go to a site like MailChimp asks you this, Etsy will ask you this, and they ask you for your Google Analytics ID, this ID number is right here. So if you click on the site that you want to track to, it's right here. It's in a couple other spots too, but this is the quickest way to get to it. Okay, so Google Analytics. The first page you open up to is an overview of your traffic. This is just like your traffic overview in your metrics. Let's go to a specific week so I can show you if there's any differences. All right, so let's click on June 21st, the week of June 21st. It says that my audience size was 2,800 people. If I go to that same week on here, June 20th, I guess, it gives me the number of sessions, which is how many sessions of my site were opened. So like how many times my site was opened. Let's change this to users, because users and the audience size should be the same. So from June 21st, 2,800, this is reading June 21st to the 24th, 2,400. So we're off by 400 people. That shows you that Google is not tracking it the same way as Squarespace. It's a good idea to look at both of these numbers and just assume that your actual number is somewhere in between these two. Personally, I would trust Squarespace more with this, but it is important to keep in mind that if this number is way off, something is wrong. Either people are coming in from a spammy website, so Google doesn't want to count them, or they're coming in from a strange link that might not be included on your website. So just keep that in mind. It's not a huge deal. You could be off by a couple thousand people if you have a lot of visitors. It's not something to like stress over, but it is something to just keep in mind when you're looking at your stats. Okay, so there's a couple different things that you can look at. On Google Analytics, you can just get an overview, or you can kind of compare them side by side. So here's users, and let's compare pages. So how many page views? So you can see the number. So it's showing me that earlier in the weeks, more visitors were coming than looking at pages. So for every 2 visitors, only 2 pages were looked at. Here, each visitor looked at a couple pages rather than just 1 page. So that's kind of the difference. In Squarespace, you can see all 3 lined up and it shows you exactly. Google Analytics is a little more technical, so you have to kind of tell it what to do, where Squarespace just kind of decides what you want to see for you. So this is good if you're kind of new at this and you don't really know what you're looking for. Squarespace will kind of tell you what's important. If you need to dig more into details, Google Analytics is where you should go. This gives you way more options to kind of break down what you want to see. You can add segments, you can change certain dates and certain times. But really, I really don't think that unless you have a giant website and you are optimizing your SEO and finding like the most pages that are the most popular and stuff like that, Google Analytics is really just a little too much. Squarespace is more basic and a little easier to track. Okay, so over on the left here, you kind of have your menu. You can look at the overview. They always have beta stuff going on. Half the time, this will be gone in a week. Sometimes it stays forever. So these 2 I haven't even looked at yet. Active users and cohort analytics. I don't even know what that is. But you can look at demographics, which is extremely helpful if you're not sure who your audience is. So right now I can tell you that about 88% of my viewers are female. This is based off of what Google knows about that user. So you might have a guy using his girlfriend's laptop looking at your site, but Google thinks it's a girl. So it's not like 100% accurate, obviously, but it is good to know more females look at my site than males, which I already kind of knew because it's for female entrepreneurs and it has flowers on it, but it is good to know. It also breaks it down by age, so I can see 50% of my traffic is between 18 and 24, and 31% is between 25 and 34. So I know that my prime group is between 18 and 34 years old. I really want to hit right around that 24 years old stage. That will be right in the middle, and I know who to target. That sounds kind of scary, like who to target. Anyways, so you can look at it by sessions or by pages, bounce rate. If you don't know what bounce rate is, that is how long someone stays at your site before they leave. The lower the bounce rate, the better. Let's see. Let's go to my overview so I can give you an idea. Bounce rate. Okay, so my bounce rate stays right around 80%. My average is around 80%. That is what some people would consider a horrible bounce rate. That means that 80% of the people leave my website after viewing only 1 page. However, my blog posts are extremely specific. If someone came to my site to learn about newsletters, my blog post covers everything you need to know about newsletters. They don't need to go searching through my site or read other posts to know about newsletters. They only need that 1 post. So I take this as I'm giving people what they need within 1 page. Now, you don't want your bounce rate to be 100% because that means they read 1 page and then they leave and they don't even care about looking around. But for something like Amazon, where someone's looking for products, they're going to have a really low bounce rate because people are going to multiple pages to compare multiple products and search for multiple things, where on something like a very specific article, your bounce rate is going to be a lot higher. This isn't super important to pay attention to when you're first starting out. All you want to focus on is writing great content and getting people to your site. After that, you can start worrying about lowering your bounce rate. And if you look over my months, it hasn't changed, hardly at all. It's gone up by 0.1%. So bounce rate is really something that you shouldn't stress about it. There's a lot of blog posts that tell you like you need to lower your bounce rate, but having a high bounce rate isn't necessarily a bad thing. So just keep all of this in mind. Depending on what you write about, what your site is about, all of this stuff is going to vary. So don't stress about it. If you really want help with this, hire someone to manage your SEO. It's really silly to try to learn all of this when you're just starting out. Okay, so there's a ton of stuff you can look at in here. There's interests, so I don't even know how they get this kind of stuff. People who came to your site who are interested in beauty, people who like movies, people who are interested in home decor. There's all kinds of stuff. This is just kind of giving you a better idea of who is coming to your site and what they enjoy. There's about 1 billion different reports you can look at to get all of this information. Really, I just think it's a little much for a simple blog. But dig into it. Just look through all these pages. You never know what will be useful to you. Just kind of look through every page. If nothing pops out at you, it's probably not that important. There's a ton of other stuff in here. You can see the behavior of your visitors. So what pages they're looking at, what pages link to which pages and how they're following that. You can see the individual pages. So for example, you can see my #1 page most visited is my first apartment page, which is my blog post about moving out for the first time. This is most popular because it went viral on Pinterest and people like it. So I can see all of that information here. This little slash is just my homepage, so that's just noraconrad.com/. So you can get a better idea of what's popular on your site. Again, this is just like in Squarespace, your popular content page. So you can kind of see how this gives you more detail, but this gives you a better overview and a better picture of what you need to know, just for the basics. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I'm going to go over. Any like specific things that you need changed, if you have a specific question, let me know and I'll try to help you out. The best way to kind of figure out Google Analytics is just by clicking on everything and going through and figuring it out. But there's a ton of blog posts, Pinterest pins, and Google has a ton of like question and answer things available. So if you need to find something, just Google it. Something will come up. I do want to mention that if you don't have your website currently added, you're going to want to add your site. So let's go back to the home page here. Okay, so, oh, and by the way, from the home page, you can see an overview. So you can see the average time someone spends, bounce rate, and your total sessions. Okay, so when you're first starting out, oh my goodness, they moved everything from the last time I came here. I think it's in user settings. Nope, it's in admin. Okay, so go to your admin tab, I guess that's what I'll call it. And this is where you can change the different accounts and properties. So you're going to want to click on account right here, and you can add a new account. With Google Analytics, you can add up to 100. So you would want to click on add new account, and this is where you can add your website or whatever you're tracking. So if you're tracking a newsletter or an Etsy shop or things like that, that's how you're going to do it. You can also track mobile apps. So you'll want to, excuse me, fill all of this stuff out. Just go through. They do a good job of kind of telling you what information they need. And once you're done, you're going to want to hit Get Tracking ID. Your tracking ID is this UA number that I mentioned earlier. And you will use that for all kinds of stuff. Let's switch back over here, and let me see if I can find this stupid setting. Let's go to blogging. Is it in blogging? Oh man, you guys, I just do not remember where this goes. Connected accounts, maybe. Nope. Okay, well, somewhere in Squarespace, you can add in your Google tracking your analytic tracking. So that way your site is automatically tracked with Google Analytics without setting too much, without like having to do too much or setting up a new account like I just showed you in the admin. So if you have a Squarespace account, this is super easy. If not, I mean, it's not super hard, but I wish I could find this stupid setting. Let's see. We're just going to go through each one. It's not an email. What am I doing? Permissions. There must be an advanced, right? Code injection. No, I know what that is. Haha! Found it, finally. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so if you go to your Squarespace menu, click on Settings, and then Advanced External Services. Goodness gracious. This is where you will copy and paste your Google Analytics account number, and that will activate your Google Analytics on your website. So again, it's super easy. All you have to do is add it in here, create a new account, and then copy that ID, and it will immediately start tracking your stuff. I shouldn't say immediately, it takes a few minutes to activate. Yeah, but that is basically it. I'm sorry, that was a really terrible explanation of everything, and I'm not going to film videos this late at night anymore. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know, and I hope that helped you in some ways. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great Friday. Bye.